Welcome to TwoQuestions.tv. With me today is Martin Lanik, and we're talking about leadership habits. Welcome to TwoQuestions.tv. I'm Susan Baroncini-Moe. Joining me today is Dr. Martin Lanik, the CEO of Pinsight, a global leadership development company. He's also the author of this book, The Leader Habit, Master the Skills You Need to Lead in Just Minutes a Day. Hi, Martin. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Susan. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I loved your book. I am just obsessed with it now.
You are so kind. Thank you.
We can have a different conversation about my obsession later, but the book was just lovely, and I thought so helpful, so and I come from an academic background as well, and my history is in social psychology, so similar. I think that's part of why it really resonated with me. But I found this thing interesting. In the book, you talked about this University of Virginia study of expressive and inexpressive students. And there's a reason I'm starting there. The study showed that the raters were not fooled by people who were trying to act against their natural personality. And you said it's hard to be someone that we're not. And I thought it was very poignant in this book, a book to help people become leaders. Because we know people aren't necessarily born good leaders, but when someone gets to adulthood and isn't really a good leader, if it's really hard to become someone that we're not, how can people become better leaders?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for bringing that up. That's one of my favorite pieces. And in my 10+ year consulting career and leadership development, I've noticed very much what that particular study said, that it is much easier to work on things and perfect the skills that come to us naturally, because that's where we can really become great. I see so many people just struggle and trying to become somebody that they're not. Yeah. I use the classic example of public speaking. You see all these introverts who are very, very painfully shy people, and they just keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. And yes, over time, anybody can get there, but it's never going to be to that level of somebody for whom that skill comes naturally. So that's the key for building any habit, I think. It's just recognizing what is it that comes to you naturally and what doesn't, and just working on the things that we are predisposed to and that we'll enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, this book is not just about practicing behaviors that get you to new leadership habits. It's about microbehaviors, chaining. And I want our audience is most likely still waiting for their books to arrive. It's only just come out. So, yes. So talk me through microbehaviors and chaining and how that leads to different habits.
Yes. So one of the big problems that a lot of people have in leadership development, and a lot of the frustration that we've been experiencing, is that we go to the classroom, we read a book, but then we go back to our old habits. So I started looking at how is it that people build habits most effectively. And one of the first key findings was that any complex behavior, so any complex skill, like a leadership skill, like delegating, will take a lot of time to actually turn into habit. But we could be smart and we could break down this complex skill of delegating into tiny micro behaviors. And those are the ones that we can turn into habits very quickly. So we pick one tiny behavior, one micro behavior, and that's what we practice for about 2 months, over and over. That's all we focus on. And in 2 months, for most people, that one micro behavior will become a habit. Mm-hmm. So that's why I decided to focus on micro behaviors. And then obviously the question is, well, what are the right micro behaviors to focus on? And that's where our research study comes into play. So we studied about 800 managers and executives around the world, and we looked at them, so to speak, under a microscope to identify what are the micro behaviors, what are the tiny behaviors that distinguish really effective leaders from not effective leaders. And then those are the ones that are documented in the book. And we built these 5-minute exercises so that people can easily turn these microbehaviors into lasting habits.
And it really is minutes a day.
It is, yeah,
It
because
really
you
is.
just practice one tiny thing. And it's counterintuitive. Most people, when they try to change something, it's, everything overnight, that miracle. And it doesn't work because we get sidetracked. We have families, we have our jobs, and it's very difficult to find any time for our own growth. So just focusing on minutes a day, that's sustainable. We can do that. And research shows that that's how we actually build those habits.
It's funny, when you said public speaking, I was reminded of a friend of mine who is one of the most successful and well-paid public speakers out there. And I asked him once, how did you become such a great speaker? Because he's perfect. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, no one's perfect, but he's pretty close. And he's been doing this a long time. And he said, when I first went out there and I started speaking, every time I spoke, I would focus on a tiny thing. So I would focus on how I was moving around the stage, or where I put my hands, or the pace of my speech. And so he focused on microbehaviors. And I never thought of it that way until just now when you said that. I thought that's how he became so great, microbehaviors.
Yes, because you focus on that one thing and you do it enough to a point where it becomes automatic. And then it's like driving a car. You can do other things because now you've got this. You don't even have to think about it. It just happens on its own.
Exactly. Oh, it's so interesting. Martin, I loved your book, and I am excited to be able to recommend it as one of my faves for the year. It's going on that list, just so you know.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It was years of thinking and research that went into that project.
It shows. It shows. I mean, it's a great book. Martin, thank you for being on the show today.
Yes, I'm having so much fun. Thank you. Love talking about this subject.
Well, you want to hang around and join me for the after show?
Yes, for sure.
Awesome. All right. Viewers, if you'd like to join us for the after show, just head on over to twoquestions.tv. That's our URL, twoquestions.tv. That's it. And it's the only place you can find the after show. So we'll see you over there. We're going now over there. So you can get this book, The Leader Habit, in our show notes for today. We're going to have a link to Amazon so you can get your copy. Make sure you get this one. It's on my official highly recommend list. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.